Did you cry a lot as a boy?
Yes, no, shit. No, actually.
Real talk, my goal is to ask you some questions you've never been asked before. I want to take a stroll through your mind. Ready to get vulnerable? Ready for this? From a charming college sweetheart to a ruthless drug lord, he's brought depth to every role he's touched. Versatile and constantly evolving. Meet Ali Fazal. Are you ready for me to dive into your soul? Because that is what I'm going to do right now. I'm so happy to chat with you. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I only prep a certain amount when I sit down with someone because I actually wanna get to know them myself. I don't wanna know what the internet is saying. I don't wanna know what art, I wanna form my own opinion. And I want the audience to form their own opinion.
Wait, I'm still playing that out, diving into my soul. That's cathartic. Like, I'm watching you doing it.
I am going to swim through your soul. Swim. Are you ready? Should we do it?
Okay, I could just be a very shallow swimming pool and you'd be fine.
Well, I don't know how to swim, so that could work out to my benefit also.
Awesome, me too.
I want to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I have known you for all of 2 minutes. You seem very confident. You seem very easygoing.
That's my game face.
Tell me about your family growing up.
Holy, wow.
Your dad worked abroad?
Oh my God, you want to go there?
Yeah, right from the beginning.
I suppose my relationship with him has always been like a, summer holidays and winter holidays. And then, the few times he would come back and until the time they were, I think I was in class 12th. Yeah. They got separated then. And yeah, then me and my mom carried on and she was, yeah, that's it.
And do you feel like, I don't know, was your mom treated differently by family, by the community, by...
No.
Really?
No. Which, yes, I do understand was, would be a stigma in other households. Oh, you know what? The first time I was made to realize this was somebody I was dating at the time and casually her parents mentioned, this is a divorced household, right? So then you start realizing, oh, acha, it's looked down upon, it's a very different setup elsewhere. And it wasn't like that in our house. It's far from it. So I've never known that this was something abnormal. Yeah, my mother had every right to, go through that.
So fair to say, in some parts, you were raised by a single mother, for the most part. If your dad wasn't always present, and your parents got separated, and you were an only child.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, I have to give it to him. He's always been there. Like, he was financially supported us, my education. And he was always, it's the phone calls, right? It's those long phone calls, we used to have, which with the daddies, मैं खेल रहा हूँ and I'm playing outside and, my grandmother's calling me, your dad's call because it's come from, like the Middle East or wherever he is at the time. And it's this 2-hour phone call where I suppose a desperate father is trying to just give all the information to his son. And I'm getting repulsed in that moment because I'm like, you don't want that. So you act out,
So there was a little bit of parenting from your dad's side during these 2-hour phone calls. I'm so curious because I think it's important for young boys growing up to have role models, all types of role models, but particularly a male role model, right?
Oh, yeah.
So who was your male role model?
Well, I was actually very lucky and to have my uncles and weirdly characters from a lot of bedtime stories.
So I believe that stories are how we understand the world, how we understand ourselves, how we understand other people. I also believe that masculinity is kind of a story. We learned it from somewhere, you learned it from somewhere, or you didn't learn it from somewhere. When was the first time in your childhood where you were like, oh, this is how a boy or man is supposed to act? Was it those 2-hour phone calls? Was it your uncles? Was it something at school, on TV? Where did you get the idea of, as a son, as a boy, this is how I'm supposed to be?
I don't know why I have this flash of Scarface in my head right now.
Did you watch it when you were younger?
Yeah, it was the time when it was this movie came out, right? It was this ultra alpha Al Pacino, doing what he's doing. And I walked in on my uncle watching that, and I wasn't supposed to see that film. I don't know, I think there's some nudity in there or whatever, but there's a lot of action. but that action didn't seem off.
Say hello to my little friend!
You know, I was stopped because there was nudity in film, and the other stuff is just fine because a bunch of men are killing a bunch of men. Now I realize I find it hard to even watch things on cinema that is violent.
Really?
And I'm part of one of the most violent shows in India, which is weird. Yeah.
Was there ever a time when you were growing up where you were told you couldn't do something because you were a boy, or you shouldn't do something because you were a boy?
Yeah, you know, baal lambe mat karo, don't grow your hair too long, you look like a girl. Why do you like cooking, you know? There's a lot of it. I mean, you're talking about India. You're talking about somebody who's grown up here and in different cities. We're constantly bombarded with the ideas of alpha, the ideas of manhood, the ideas of, you know, ladki hai, bichari hai. Siblings usually face that a lot, that by default, it's the boys that are given the food first, served first. Small things. I think the first time I was reminded that there's this demarcation was, I suppose, one of the weddings in the family where, you know, there's the weddings the Indian weddings, you see the difference. You see the segregation. You see the hierarchies that trickle down, no matter who you are, no matter how liberal your family is. And I'm very proud of our family, my mother's side especially, because they're the ones I've grown up with, the values came from there, whatever. But you see that difference. And it's generational. It's almost like muscle memory. Like you would literally have like those dupattas separating rooms, and the women would be on one side and the men would be on one side. So you start to understand, and then you know you're given orders even as a kid. Ki, acha, no, you do this. You're the man of the house. You're the this and you're the that, and you have to take care of things now because you just hear these words over the years.
Did you cry a lot as a boy?
Yes, no, actually. I never thought that was ever a thing until somebody, I'm sure, must have come along and said, oh, but men don't cry, you know, don't cry. Hold it. I did. I think when mum left for a holiday or something for the first time, I really, I cried my eyes out. I still do. I mean, I'm sitting in a movie hall and I'm just like, that's why I go alone. I go alone a lot. I mean, now I, usually go with Richa, but even then I go alone because both of us have like different ideas of time. And she's so sure she'll reach at the time when the movie's just about to start. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You got to go through the whole trailers and everything, and I'm going to be there on time.
This is my kind of person.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I sit, and that's meditation for me. But so I can sit with my own popcorn and just cry my eyes out.
That is literally me.
Right?
I've stopped being friends with people because they make me miss the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm not about that life.
Sit.
100%. Okay, good. So we know that you kind of had a dad that was traveling a lot. Talk to me then about your journey into entertainment and acting.
Oh, I broke my arm. Yeah.
You broke your arm and became an actor?
Yeah, I mean, so I was a basketball player.
Okay.
And this is in school, and I just busted my arm. I used to play a lot of sports, everything, and I just, that adrenaline and everything, and boom, it comes out, and you're in a boarding school, like, again, everything was trickled down from the top of the hierarchy was the sportsmen, like, you're the shit, you're playing sports, and you're so good at it, blah, 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 and suddenly you feel like, oh my God, 500 boys in the school and you're nothing. So I went into depression, and then, of course, my friend said, it sort of pushed me into theater and debating and all that stuff. So that's how I started. Shakespeare, to be precise.
Tell me about your production company. Yes. Tell me about the name, Pushing Buttons. What buttons are you trying to push?
Name it. It all started with the first Big Bang, right? And
what language are you speaking right now?
It's so, we were just sitting together and just faffing around, and we were thinking about a name, and we came up with this together. I had this old memory when I was a child, and sorry, it's just boring for me to bar keep saying my mother, but
No, it's not boring.
actually,
Please.
like I spent a lot of time with her. So she would take me to this place called the Button House in Lucknow, and of course, the name Button House would have lots of buttons and amongst other things. And my uniform shop was right next to it. But she would buy these buttons to sew them in. And I used to see this big heap. This guy used to bring trays of these heaps of just colorful buttons. And something just stuck with me, and that memory stuck with me. And I always wondered, like, wow, this is the one place that they all shapes and sizes, all colors, just stacked up, ready to just bind fabric out there, you know? And I just thought something was so soothing about that. About the choice that you have in that moment. Not the final landing, but to be able to have those choices. That stayed with me. And then Richa came up with pushing.
So you contributed buttons.
Buttons. And says, no, wait, let's just nudge that a little bit, you know, because that's who we are, and we want to push the boundaries, and we want to create a system. I think we can do better for women in film. I think we can do better for the technicians who are on film, and for royalties, for artists and non-artists who are attached to films.
I've noticed something. I don't have as much experience doing production in India as you might. I have realized it is difficult, and it's difficult even in America, to have a set that has inclusivity or representation. And so I was really intrigued by this effort I think you and your wife both have done called Undercurrent. Tell me about that.
Oh, we're so excited, and we're really, really proud of it. I mean, look, we're not claiming all the work. There's a lot to be done. I mean, sometimes sets don't even have toilets for women. So we're still grappling with that on so many levels, which is quite shitty. But this whole idea came from Tanya, our associate producer, and we were sitting in a meeting, and because we decided to have an all-girl crew, and I think she was like, well, we don't have gaffers who are women. And then she started doing research and says, why don't we try and do a program? And we reach out to Berlinale, the Berlin Film Festival, and they actually gave us a grant for this. We managed to bring in like top editors, DOPs, and sometimes even directors to host a 10-day workshop for these girls who came from all parts of India, from tribal areas as well, and they just wanted to learn lighting.
Why did you want to have an all-female crew?
I wouldn't take the credit for that, but I think it was a very sensitive film. And at the same time, I think, why not? There have been like all-men hangouts, ever since you can remember. So why does it suddenly stick out? Sure, there can be an all-girl crew, and that should be fine.
And when did you meet Richa?
Oh, that was in like one of the films, Fukre, when we were doing. That was in 2014. We met, we never hooked up then, we were great friends.
Cool, I'm gonna dive into this for a second. I haven't even changed my sitting position because I'm about to swim into your soul right now. You ready? Here we go.
Okay.
How would you describe your wife?
She's home.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, she's just my person.
And I love that. But explain her to someone that might be watching that doesn't know her qualities. If they were to sit in a room with your wife, what could they expect?
Oh man, that's just like, now that is putting me on the spot, because anything I say does not, and not in any manner, sum up Richa Chadha. I think she's brought a very spiritual side in me out there for me to explore for the rest of my days. But she's just hilarious, she's funny, she's clumsy, and yeah, she's powerful.
Was that scary?
Scary? Why?
Well, scary is in the sense of I speak from my experience. I feel like when I was growing up, I used to get a lot of flack for being really loud or being really outgoing or trying to stand up all the time and not being quiet and not being reserved. And the number one thing most girls are told is, who is gonna marry you if you're like that? Like, how can you be and how can we make you most suitable for a man? So now you are a man that is married to someone who has all those attributes that are against the grain. And so talk to me about that. Does it make you feel less than? Like, what is the experience of being a man married to a powerful woman?
Yeah, far from scary. I think it's just like it's a big hug, you know. And this is a generational problem, right? Like families who have lived in societies where women do not work, will not be allowed to work. You follow the customs. So therefore, you know, when the child comes in, you have to figure out the next unit for this child because the environment is not going to allow her to work, and so marriage. And therefore, you know, you prep for that. To break that is really hard.
Well, you kind of mentioned this, but you just entered one of the biggest roles of your life. Your baby is brand new.
Yeah.
You have a brand new baby girl.
Yeah.
What kind of dad are you hoping that you'll be to this brand new girl?
I'm supposed to have a lot of conversations right now in my head. And I'm going to. I'm sitting down and just taking it all in because I think I don't want to miss this beautiful thing, this beautiful chapter. But at the same time, there's a climate anxiety. At the same time, there is, that's the fear that I'm going to be raising a girl. You know, we are in a society where, what are we promising? Apart from the stories that we've been told and we are going to eventually, play out for her, around her, there are things that are not in our control. And we've just gotten out of something bizarre and sick and violent that just occurred in this country just before Independence Day. So yes, we've been sitting really depressed, you know, and almost ignoring it right now because every day she's changing and she's growing and she's turning into this beautiful thing, and I'm trying to figure out how to seal it, how to seal the rest of the world, but at the same time not, because the world is beautiful. It can be, you know, and there's space for everyone. There's room for everyone. Like, yeah.
Well, I think you'll be a great dad based on this.
Yeah. Yeah. These are her language. No, I'm that.
Yeah.
I hope I can just be a good version of that inside her head.
If you liked this conversation, you have to check out the last one I did with Bhumi Pednekar because it is incredible and she blew my mind. Also, make sure you subscribe for all of our new uploads and follow us on Instagram at Unicorn Island because we post senti deep talks like this all the time.